Hi guys, welcome to another video. Every year on YouTube, there's this super popular video that always goes viral. It's the what I'm not buying in the new year video. I myself have made this video. I will link it here in case you're interested in watching it. But today I wanted to talk about things that I no longer buy since becoming a minimalist. These are things that used to be really important for me to own. They would hold a lot of weight in terms of value, but since becoming a minimalist and just really seeing the beauty in living a slow, simple, intentional life, these things just no longer hold value to me. So you're going to want to get something warm and cozy to drink. The YouTube hat is back. If you guys know, then you know. So grab something warm to drink, sit down, and let's get into it. After being a minimalist for about 8 years now, the first thing that is no longer appealing to me is owning a bigger house. It is very countercultural now to actively want to live in a smaller home, especially in America. We grow up with the American dream of a big house and a fancy car and a bigger salary and all the vacations. But what I have learned after becoming a mom, having owned 2 houses, being a human for 36, almost 37 years, a bigger house is just more money that you have to spend, more maintenance that you have to do, more cleaning that is required. None of that is of interest to me. The other thing that I learned with our last home that we owned is that bigger homes tend to have this vacuum effect where when there is space, your brain feels like it has to be filled. Even in this house that we live in now, it's not big. It might be like 2,300 square feet, so definitely a reasonable size. I've noticed that there are areas that we don't really use, especially in the basement, that I still have to clean and dust and vacuum, even though we never spend time in those areas. But before becoming a minimalist, I loved the idea of a big fancy house, but it just doesn't appeal to me. The thing with bigger houses is that it separates the people that live in them. I think it's really easy to get to the point where you're all just sort of living in the same house, but there's not quality time that's being spent together. In smaller houses, I think having quality time is a lot easier because there just isn't as many places to go. You know, you're forced to all be around each other. And that's why I'm really glad we don't have like 2 living rooms, because I can only imagine, my husband and I are in one, the kids are in another. That's just really sad. I think about that movie, Robin Williams is in it. It's that movie where they go on the RV trip. If you know what that movie is, comment it down below because it's gonna drive me nuts. But in the beginning of this video, they live in this huge house and they're all texting each other about coming down to eat dinner, and the kids don't want to come downstairs. That's what having a big house makes me think of, and it just makes me sad. So I'm really grateful that we don't live in a huge house. We get to spend more time together. We're physically around each other more. It's less to clean. It's less to pay for. It checks all of my minimalist boxes. Next is whatever is trending. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about home decor and clothing. With home decor, I never really knew what my preference for what I wanted my house to look like was. Inevitably, I just sort of followed the trends that I saw all over social media. Those were back in the days before I got off of social media. So all over Instagram, I saw the farmhouse aesthetic. I'm sure you guys remember that one. And so I just sort of followed suit, and then the trend would change because I didn't know what was authentic to me. I felt like I needed to change my home as well just to sort of keep up. And I think the reason that it never really felt authentic to me and why I needed to keep changing it is because it wasn't authentic to me, right? This just takes time, to know who you are and what you like. I really enjoy the Japandi aesthetic where it's warm, natural tones, and my house has been this way for years. I haven't changed it, and it never grows old. Like, I never get sick of that interior design style because it is authentic to me. The other thing here is fashion. Again, I think this is one that just sort of takes time to know who you are and what your personality is. I think if you guys have been around here, you know I'm super laid back. In the summer, I'm rocking my Free People jumpers. You guys have seen me film in those a million times. And in the winter, I wear this. Literally this right here. The hat, the white shirt, and the jeans. 90% of the time when I go out in public, this is what I have on. I have 2 white shirts and I have 2 pairs of these very jeans. It's like my uniform. It just keeps it real easy. But it took a long time for me to, number 1, figure out that that's what I liked to wear. And number 2, be okay with not keeping up with trends. Because some of the trends that come out are like real cute. But I know that inevitably that trend is gonna change and then I'm just gonna have to buy more clothes. Why would I do that when I know that this looks good? I like how I look in it. It's very comfortable, checks all the boxes. But unless I had embraced minimalism, both in my home and in my closet, I never would have figured this out and I just would have kept chasing those trends. Also, hey, if you're new around here, I'm Sherry. I'm a minimalist who believes that we live life a lot better and a lot more faithfully when we have less physical possessions and less digital distractions. And on this channel, I talk about living with less stuff and more intention, and I use scripture as my guide. So if you are into that too, I would love to have you subscribe. Number 3 is a busy schedule. I could not have learned this unless I had become a minimalist. I used to think that my life wasn't successful or exciting unless I was doing things all the time. Minimalism taught me that when you remove the things that you're doing just because everybody else says that you should do them, and you start to really hone in on what you value, it really is the key to curating your schedule and the way that you spend your time. Because what I learned after becoming a minimalist is that I don't like to go to a whole bunch of social gatherings, and I actually don't like to go shopping all day, and I actually don't like to be away from home for like very long at all. I don't like to stay busy. I don't like to go to work, come home, turn around, have to leave again. That is not the life for me. I actually enjoy lots of free time. I've just realized that being very intentional with having big blocks of time where I just don't have anything going on, where I can sit down and read a book and not feel rushed, or I can just hang out with my kids or hang out with my husband and we don't really have to go or be anywhere. That is what I prefer. I do not like to have a full schedule where I'm always on the go and I'm never home. Again, never would have learned this had I not become a minimalist. Ooh, this is a big one. Phone notifications. Before becoming a minimalist, I didn't even really know that you could not have notifications on your phone. That was like 8 years ago, guys. So here's the thing. If I have notifications turned on my phone is constantly like bing, 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 bing. It's even worse if you have social media. If I disable notifications, I'm not constantly having that mental interruption, because if I see my phone light up or I hear it go off, I'm gonna wanna go and check it. So by having all of those notifications disabled, I just am able to enjoy my time without my phone. You know? So if you do not have phone notifications disabled, go disable your notifications in your settings and it will change your life. I promise you. It's one less mental tab that you're gonna have open and it is great. This next one is a big one. I struggled with this for a long time and I'm still mildly getting over it. That is having a perfectly clean house all the time. I was that person that, if you've seen those videos where it says, I have company in 20 minutes, let's see how clean I can get my house. Okay, and then the woman goes around and cleans like a madman. Okay, that was me. Like 100% me, and I'm still mildly recovering from this. I also used to be that person that was just really, really hyper focused on germs in my house. And this actually stems from somebody that I guess you could call her a friend. She lived in a different state. We went to high school together. But this is just an example of how people in your life can influence and affect how you live, and you don't even really notice it. She was very, very big on her house being clean all the time. And I'm not talking like picked up. I'm talking like she disinfected the walls on a regular basis. And by regular basis, I mean like daily. Which is fine. Like if that's you, go for it, right? Like we all have different priorities, and that's fine. What I noticed though is that it turned me into a psycho. She would, and okay, let me back up. I'm not blaming any of this on her, right? I am 100% responsible for how I let things affect me, but I got into the same rhythms that she was in, and I just like turned into a crazy person about how clean my house was. I was mopping walls all the time. Wild. I think there's a balance between having a clean house and being neurotic, and it's a fine line. One thing that I absolutely still will not tolerate is shoes in the house. I will say I've gotten better about this, but I still am very, very strict about no shoes in the house. However, before, if I would have company come over, I would literally meet them at the door and greet them so I could politely ask them to take their shoes off inside. I had a sign that you could see from the front door that said, please remove your shoes. Okay, now when people come into my house, like mentally, if they have shoes on, I'm kind of like, like a little bit. I'm still kind of about it, you know what I mean? But I've gotten to the point where if they come in with shoes on, I'm like, okay, I'll just mop when they leave. It's really not a big deal. So I have come a long way with that. But if you do 5 minutes of research about what you can bring into your house if you wear shoes, you'll probably not wear shoes in your house either. But yeah, I've gotten much less neurotic about how clean my house is, how much time I spend cleaning my house, because I think we can be a lot like Martha, and we need to be more like Mary. If you know, you know. The next thing is other people's expectations. And this is specifically around things that we choose to own and not own. Because here's the thing. When you become a minimalist and you have people over, it's gonna go one of two ways. They're either gonna say something like, wow, I wish my house was this clean all the time. Or they're gonna say something snarky, like, hey, it's okay to own throw pillows, which I own them. Or, hey, it's okay to have stuff on the walls. Like they'll make comments like that. And it used to kind of bother me because everybody lives differently and it's fine. Like I don't walk into people's houses who aren't minimalists and think, y'all got a lot of stuff. You ever thought about living with less stuff? Like I don't do that. So what I've learned is that it is not other people's business what I own or do not own. And if they want to have an opinion about that, that's fine. But I am no longer allowing that to affect how I feel about how much I do not own. The next thing that no longer appeals to me as a minimalist is backup items or duplicates. I used to be the person that if something was on sale, I would buy like 8 because I thought, well, it's on sale, so I might as well stock up. Which I understand the logic, but first of all, you're fronting way more money when you do that. But also, it would get to the point where I would forget what I had and then end up buying what I didn't have. So I've really gotten away from that. I'm pretty much on the opposite end of the spectrum with this now, where like we'll run out of toilet paper and we won't have any. And somebody will be like, I need toilet paper. And I'll have to say, hold up, I gotta go to Dollar General, okay? It's only happened once, all right? So I've stopped stocking up on things that I don't need. I just buy things as I need them because here's the thing, anything that you need, and when we say need, we need to be real careful because I would argue the only things that you need are food and toilet paper. I would definitely classify toilet paper as a need, but those two things I can literally go to Publix 15 minutes away and go get. Anything else can wait until the next day. So buying excess of things just to have them on hand, I realized that it was really keeping me in sort of this scarcity mindset. Now I realize if I need something, I can go and get it 15 minutes down the road, or, you know, if it's something at Walmart or whatever, it can probably wait until the next day. It's fine. This next one is a big one and highly controversial. So if you have a differing opinion, you're welcome to comment down below. Just keep it respectful, please. That is, I no longer feel guilty about getting rid of things that are gifted or given to me, okay? Here's my thought process on this, because I used to feel really bad, especially if it was something that was like handmade and I would get rid of it. Like the guilt would just eat me alive. But here's the thing that I've realized. Let's start with gifts, and then I also want to talk about things that are just given to you from somebody else. If someone gives you a gift, it is my belief that you should never tell somebody, I don't want that. Like, thanks, but I don't really want that. That's super rude. Don't do that. Accept the gift, even if you don't want it, and thank them because they had the kindness in their heart to think of you, get you this thing, and give it to you. That's great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay? But when something is given to you, it is then your property to do with as you see fit. I do not think other people, once something is given to you, for them to be able to call the shots on how you then handle that item. If it serves you and you love it, keep it. Amen. If it at any point in time stops serving you and starts to become more of a burden than a pleasure to own that thing, there's nothing wrong with letting go of it. So if something is given to me and I can use it for a little while, great. And then if I don't need it anymore, I just get rid of it. Now, the other thing is with things that people give you, that they just give you. Like, it's not a gift. They're just like, hey, do you need this? And you're like, yeah, actually. But then you use it for however long you need it, and then you're like, nah, I don't really need it. It can go. And then you feel guilty for letting it go because they were so nice to think of you and give it to you. But here's the thing, is when they gave it to you, that means they didn't want it either. So there's no shame in getting rid of things that are given to you that somebody else didn't want anyway. And obviously they didn't want it because they gave it to you. So no guilt for getting rid of things that are given to me by other people. Oh, I didn't even realize we're at the last one, and it is having an overload of home decor. I, again, could not have learned this without becoming a minimalist, because back in my pre-minimalism farmhouse decor era, I had signs all over my walls. If you guys know, then you know. I had, not like live, laugh, love. Like, nobody has that anymore. But like, biblical sayings or verses or everyone is welcome here or, like nice sayings, great Bible verses. But there was so much on the wall that it just sort of becomes like background noise to your eyes. And you don't really enjoy any of it anymore. It just is sort of there. And by there, I mean everywhere. And it's very overwhelming and it's a lot to clean, and I'm just not here for that anymore. But again, without having had learned the beauty of minimalism and the beauty of living with less, but with things that are actually beautiful, I would still be in that space where I just threw everything up on the wall because I wanted it to look decorated. With minimalism, you have to really curate, and it's a process and it takes time. And for me, I find pleasure in that process because my home, when I went into minimalism and I've sort of grown and learned that I really like the Japandi style and all of that, I, number one, will not buy anything that is not extremely high quality because I'm not buying very much and I want it to be high quality. For example, behind me that you can't see here, and I'll put in some B-roll so you can see, there is this beautiful stone lamp that I got at West Elm. okay? Extremely well made, so beautiful. I just have it sitting here by itself because if there was anything else around it, I feel like it would take away from the beauty of the lamp. The lamp is literally, to me, a work of art. And so it is the decor. It is functional decor that is also incredibly beautiful. There's also a lamp right here that you guys can't see because it's out of the frame. It's the same thing. It's just beautiful. It's a work of art. It doesn't need anything else around it to take away from the beauty of the lamp. So when you pare back your decor, it really gives you this beautiful opportunity to use decor as art where you don't have to overload your house to make it look nice. Home decor overload has just lost its appeal since becoming a minimalist. All right. That is the 10 things that no longer appeal to me since becoming a minimalist. I would love to know, if you're a minimalist as well, what things have you lost interest in owning since embracing a simpler life and a simpler home? Definitely comment that down below. I did want to let you guys know as well, I have a goal this year to grow this channel to 10,000 subscribers, which seems like an absolutely crazy dream because I'm at 2,600 right now. But I really love doing YouTube. I love to connect with you guys. This is the passion of my heart, and I can't believe that I get to do this. It's wild. If this video was valuable to you, it would mean the world to me if you would give it a thumbs up, comment down below. The more engagement that videos get, the more that YouTube pushes them out where we can grow this community, we can connect with other people. It's a lot of fun around here. You guys know I'm super laid back, super casual. So if that sounds good to you, I would love to have you guys subscribe. Thank you guys, as always, for supporting my work here on YouTube. I owe all of this to you guys. Thank you so very much, and I'll see you in the next one.